Alright, so I'm continuing my Book of Psalms videos. Slowly but surely I'm trying to get it done. So I'm doing Psalm 99 and on. Hopefully I can get... I'm going to do Psalm 102 for sure, and hopefully maybe I have time to do more. So I'm doing Psalm 99, and Psalm 102 is going to be about the Holocaust, okay? So let's start with Psalm 99 for now. So, the Lord sitteth between the two cherubims. I already gone over this in several of my videos, but this God sitting in between the two cherubims and reigning on top of Mount Zion is talking about this, okay? I explained why this is God sitting in between the two cherubims. But this is very important because in the ancient world, everyone's God was sitting between standing between two cherubims. This is a God standing in between two cherubims. Cherubims are usually twins. They're usually twins, and they stand or sit in front of an opening. Okay, like in the Garden of Eden, there are two angels guarding an opening. They either guard a tomb. That's why there were angels at the tomb of Jesus, because that's what these cherubs do. They stand in front of openings. They stand next to their God, and they guard tombs. All this is a theme in the ancient world. It's in the Bible, and it's everywhere. Okay, this is a cherub guarding 3 tombs. That's what cherubs do. Even in every ancient culture, they have cherubs. They have hybrids guarding openings and tombs of a king. But oftentimes, the god is depicted as a plant, okay, or the sun or the moon, and they stand right next to it. I'm going to show you the Ark of the Covenant, and this stuff is everywhere. These cherubs are everywhere. I'm going to show you. See, these cherubs are they're standing next to you. They're by this big ball of light, the Shekinah light. Okay, you're supposed to use this light for many things. This could represent the sun or the moon, and that's exactly what this is. These are 2 cherubs by an opening or a big ball of light. The cherubs are everywhere. They're twins, and they usually face each other. A lot of the times, they face each other, and they're twins, and they're mirror images of each other. That means that when I mean mirror images, they look the same, but they're actually the opposite. That's what happens when you look in a mirror. You're not really seeing what you really look like. You're looking at the reverse image of it. Okay, that's exactly what this is. These cherubs are everywhere. They're all over everything. Okay, I really wanted to point out this Mayan one. Please notice that these 2 cherubs are guarding their god that's in the shape of a cross. There's 2 cherubs. Sometimes the one on the left is smaller because that's where Lucifer sat. He was the lesser cherub. Okay, that's why his breastplate is missing stones. That's why he's the lesser one. Alright, so even in the etymology, God tries to do that. If you look up what the word left means in several languages, it means foolish. It means weak or worthless. It means twisted and crooked. And that's what Satan is called. It's known as the crooked serpent, right? And even in some languages, it means to lie or to deceive. Okay? So, yeah, that is why God did all that on purpose. He did the flow of languages like that on purpose for revelation. Okay, so that's where Lucifer sat. He sat on the left side. But what happens is, the left side gets repaired by the humans, okay? Humans, God's people, replace Lucifer, okay? That's why the tribe of Benjamin was left-handed. Even if you look at the cross and let's go back to the Bible. In the old Israelite camp, if you look at the left, who was on the left side of the cross, that was the snakes, okay? The tribe of Dan was on the left side of the cross, and they were the snakes. So that is definitely where Lucifer sat. And that's why Satan represents God's left hand, alright? Okay, I want to talk about these cherubs that are these angel hybrids, these chimeras, okay? That's what cherubs are. They're oftentimes hybrids, okay? They guard the sacred plant. I'm going to talk about that real fast. So, that is another theory, I say, of what Lucifer was doing by the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Because cherubs are supposed to be guarding plants. That's probably another reason, a whole nother philosophy right there. He was actually guarding the sacred tree to make sure no one ate it, and he did the exact opposite. He told them to eat it. He was there probably to protect them from eating that thing, and then he did the exact opposite. He said to eat it. Okay, because that's what cherubs do. They guard sacred plants. That's a whole nother philosophy as to why Lucifer was probably by that tree. And another thing I wanted to bring up. These are Lamassus, okay? These are demons. You can literally, through the etymology, God will tell you that these are demons. Okay, that's what demons are. They're fallen cherubs and they're fallen angels, right? God uses that. Okay, if you can literally go into the etymology of these Lamassus, because they're also called shadus, okay? And shadu is the root word for the Hebrew word shadem, and shadem are demons. God is literally telling you that these things are demons. Shadu literally translate into demons, okay? These are demons. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this. Okay, that's why you have to realize that God uses the symbols of the cross to explain a billion different things. The cross is supposed to represent 4 horns. It's supposed to represent a compass. The cross is supposed to represent diamonds and jewels and stones, okay? Because that's what stars are. They're stones and diamonds and jewels, okay? It represents the sun, because that's what the sun is. It's a big star. The cross represents stars. God uses all of it. And they represent plants. These are made of wood, so they represent plants. Okay, they represent winged men. I know people who do deep Bible studies don't like to use angels as winged men, but that was a theme back in the ancient world. Okay, so God uses winged men as angels all the time. Okay, I know people don't like that. Actually, God giving his people wings is biblical, and he calls people messengers, so possibly, yes, you can view men with wings as angels. That's technically is biblical, okay? But God calls people, actually his believers, angels, okay? You're supposed to be opening these gates. That's why in real life, these 2 men, these 2 cherubs, were actual real people, okay? Because you're supposed to be doing this. Obviously, these supernatural creatures are real, but you're supposed to be doing this as well. Okay? So you have to add everything all together. God literally explains something in one image. It's a picture is worth 1,000 words, and 1,000 words is worth 1 picture. So these are 2 cherubs guarding an opening, 2 cherubs guarding a sacred tree, 2 cherubs guarding the moon or the sun. Okay, do you see how God just wraps all of it up in one image? Okay, these are 2 cherubs guarding it in a light. Okay, God uses all of it. He uses all of it in one image. He just wrapped everything up with Jesus, and hopefully saved all these people, because these people all have these things in their temples. Okay, that's why he did it. Okay, and another thing, I'm gonna say this again. I know I say this in all my videos, but I gotta do it again. The reason why everybody has 2 angels and hybrids by their plants and by their openings is because of Adam and Eve telling all their descendants what they saw in the Garden of Eden. So that is why across the earth, everyone has been copying the same story. Okay, but if you don't come to God with this information, the God of the Bible, you don't come to Jesus with this information, it's always the devil. Okay, you saying the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because people are starting to recognize this very slowly, that all these people are doing the same thing, and then they're gonna say the Jews just stole everything and made up their own religion, when it's the other way around. Everyone stole everything from Adam and Eve, the oral traditions of Adam and Eve, and turned it to the devil, okay? And I really want to point out the human factor. Yes, you can blame stuff on the devil. Yes, you can blame stuff on demons. But people are the ones who twisted things around for their own good, for their own needs, okay? They twisted the oral traditions of Adam and Eve and from Noah's Ark and built their own religion off of it, because they didn't like the God of the Bible, so they made it about themselves, which is the same thing as the devil doing it. The people did it. Human beings twisted things around for their own good. It's not just the devil and demons, it's humans. That's why these demons have human body parts and human faces, because God is trying to say it's the humans doing it. The humans are opening gateways for other humans to lead humans to hell. They open the gate for hell, and humans open gate for God. Okay, humans are leading humans everywhere. The demons and angels don't have to do nothing. Humans are doing it. Okay, so I want to go back to the very beginning of Psalm 99 before I do the Holocaust Psalm 102. Okay. The Lord reigneth, let the people tremble. He sitteth between the cherubim, let the earth be moved. The Lord is great in Zion, and he is high above all the people. Okay, so this is talking about the 3 crosses, because that's where Jesus was technically crucified. It was Mount Zion and Mount Calvary, because they were the same mountain range. Okay, it's talking about Jesus. It's not just talking about God the Father. And there's an argument, okay, that people will argue if the Ark of the Covenant is supposed to be a seat or a footstool. Like, is God supposed to be sitting on the Ark of the Covenant in between the cherubim? Or is he supposed to be standing on it? It's because you're going to need both, okay? Because in real life, these gods were usually sitting in between 2 cherubim or standing in between 2 cherubim. So that's why you're going to need both. Because God's trying to get you to realize that this stuff is everywhere. And sometimes, and so right here, the 3 crosses, he's actually standing. Let the earth be moved. Okay, so first of all, this is talking about how when God is sitting in between the cherubim, it's moving. The ark is moving. It literally tells you that the ark is a chariot. Okay, I talked about this already. The ark, God calls the ark a chariot because it was moving, right? They were on the move. The Israelite camp was moving. It never stood still for very long. I mentioned this in this video right here. Okay, in these videos, 2 videos right here, I talked about this Ophanim thing. Okay, this Ophanim thing is supposed to go under the throne of God, and the Ark of the Covenant becomes a chariot. What did I say? Watch this. These wheels literally become wheels. Okay, they move God's throne. What did I say? I said God calls people all of these angels, okay? Even this Ophanim thing, God calls people this Ophanim thing, because in real life, there's four Ophanim things that carry the Ark of carry God's throne, okay? But in real life, it was 4 people carrying God's throne. Do you see what I mean when God calls people all of these angels? He calls people all of them. And the point is, sometimes you have to lead people to God, like a cherub, but also you have to bring God to the people and defend and protect God's doorways and throne like a cherub, and bring God to the people like a wheel, okay? You're not supposed to these things are definitely real, but you're not supposed to be relying on angels to be doing all the heavy lifting. You're supposed to be doing it. You're supposed to be doing the heavy lifting. You're not just supposed to be sitting on your butt. Well, angels and God got everything taken care of. I'm just going to do nothing. Okay, God talks in code. He talks in riddles. And it's so funny because the ancient people do the same riddles almost. They almost have the same wording. They say there's eyes all over because eyes mean jewels and jewels mean stars. Okay? So when God says there's eyes all over things, he's talking about stars and gemstones and star constellations. That is why they have these big pillars with these winged animals on top. They're trying to indicate that these things are really high up in the air and in outer space, okay? They were star constellations, okay? Sometimes these things didn't literally have wings. They're trying to indicate that these things were really high up in the air at night, okay? This is why God puts wings on his throne, because God has wings on his throne, because this is a star constellation. Now listen to me. I know all these star constellations are named after pagan gods because God did these star constellations on purpose to try to save you. And what do people do? They make it crooked and evil. Okay? This is not supposed to be some pagan god. It's supposed to be God of the Bible. Okay? The devil didn't make the star constellations. It's the people who made these star constellations evil. Okay? That's supposed to be God. And that's not supposed to be any pagan god. Trust me, there's a billion pagan gods named after this star constellation. And that's why it says the earth is moving below him. It's not just talking about the Ark of the Covenant. It's actually talking about how the earth is moving under this throne star constellation. Okay? He uses both. He uses the real life on earth version, and he uses the star constellation version. Okay, now I'm going to get into Psalm 102 and the Holocaust. So lots of people think that Psalm 102 is a prophecy about the Holocaust. And I will explain to you why. So let's read parts of it. I'm going to go down to verse 3. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as a hearth. My heart is smitten, withered like grass, so that I forget to eat my bread. I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. My enemies reproach me all day, and they that are mad against me are sworn against me. For I have eaten ashes like bread, and mingled my drink with weeping. So during the Holocaust, okay, if you go into the history of it, they say that, so when it says I forget to eat my bread, this is talking, when it says my heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forget to eat my bread. This is talking about that you're so traumatized you can't eat. Okay, your heart is broken. So, and that's what happens when you're really depressed. Or really depressed people don't eat, right? Okay, so and that is something that happened to the Jews in the Holocaust, okay? Because yes, they were starved to death, but also half of them starved to death because they were so traumatized they couldn't eat, okay? And also the part where it says I have eaten ashes like bread and mingled my drink with weeping. Okay, so they were burning, they were burning the bodies of the Jews all day long, every day. And the ashes were literally going inside the food and their drink, okay, and on their faces. They were covered literally in the ashes of dead people, of their dead loved ones, okay. So they think that's why people think this is a prophecy of the Holocaust, because they were literally had to eat the ashes with their food and with their water, okay, and it was all over their faces. And that really adds to the factor why they didn't want to eat the food. They were traumatized, quadruple traumatized. I wanted to bring up the owl part. I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. So, this is another reason why they think this is a prophecy of the Holocaust. Because people who get shell-shocked, they call it shell shock syndrome, okay? But it makes people look like owls, kind of. They have like this big, weird, wide-eyed look to them, and that's how they found the people in the Holocaust. They were very traumatized, and they had shell shock, and they had this owl look to their faces. That's what they called it back then. They kind of coined a term, the owl look or something. Okay, because they look like, when you get traumatized, you look like an owl. So that's why they think that the Psalm 102 is about the Holocaust. And also, the pelicans and the owls, they cry out in the middle of the night, and they cry out in anguish, sometimes in the darkness. So that's also could be a reference to people crying out in anguish, Holocaust or not. Okay, both. Okay, so yes, so I see how this is possibly a prophecy of the Holocaust, but God uses multiple revelation in all of these passages, okay? They don't just mean one thing, they mean a million different things, okay? I am telling you right now that this is also talking about hell, okay? This eating of ashes and being burned and being covered in your loved one's ashes, okay, and crying out like a pelican or an owl, is talking about hell, okay? Because listen, I'm gonna combine all this stuff together. I'm gonna try to do it. Listen to me. When you go to hell, it also reminds me when Adam and Eve ate the fruit. It says their eyes were opened. First of all, that is talking about this owl talk. When you fall, your eyes will be opened. You will realize what you've been doing your whole life. You're going to realize that yes, it's traumatized. You're going to be really traumatized when you go to hell. You're going to have this owl cell shock syndrome for sure. That's why Adam and Eve's eyes were open, but also it means you're going to realize that not only did you send yourself to hell, you spent your whole life sending everyone else there too, including your own family members. You raised your kids in a false religion. Okay, you raised your kids believing in Muhammad or Buddha or being an atheist. Okay, you are the one who guided your own family members to the pit. Okay, that is part of the punishment of hell, is realizing you sent your loved ones there. You did it. Not necessarily just the demons and blah blah blah. The devil, you did it. Okay, that is why you are covered in your own loved ones' ashes. And see, okay, you see how that God can combine all that stuff together. You're the one that opened that gate for your family members. And also, the devil ate ashes, right? He was cursed to eat ashes. It's not just talking about the devil, it's talking about you. You're the one that's going to be cursed to the ashes and going to be eating ashes and covered in the death of your loved ones killed by you. Okay? You led them there. That's one of the worst punishments as hell, is not just you're there, you sent everyone else there too, including your own family members. You're the crooked wheel that brought the devil to your house, and you're the crooked cherubim that guided people who opened the gate to hell. That's exactly what happened to Lazarus and the rich man. He said, can I at least go tell my brothers so they don't have to go to this place? He probably realized that he's the one that helped send them there, but God said, no, your time is done. Okay, you cannot go back and warn your loved ones. Hopefully other Christians can lead your loved ones back to God, but you spent your whole life doing something else. Okay? Alright? I really wanted to add that in there. This is not just talking about the Holocaust, it's talking about hell too, definitely. And I wanted to bring up the politics real fast, because I know I showed some politicians and, kings and stuff. You need to put your politics aside for Christ. You're supposed to be bringing people to God, not bringing people to a political party or to a queen, or you know what I mean, okay? That's all a trick. You're supposed to be defending God, not defending your politicians. God comes first, okay? I'm not saying you can't be involved in politics. I'm saying you need to put God before your politics. Otherwise, your politics are just going to lead you and everyone else to hell too. Anyway. And you also need to put the kingdom of God before your country. Oh, it's all about your own country. No, you need to put the kingdom of God before your country. Everyone always thinks their own country and their own race and their own politicians are above everything and everything else, when you're supposed to be putting God before that, okay? God goes before your country and before your politicians and before, obviously, these false gods. And please remember, you're supposed to overlay the old information of the history and lay it on top of the new information. There's always a connection there. Okay, God uses play on images. Okay, he uses every kind of image to warn you about things now. Okay? Alright. Alright, so please think about this, and thank you.